Hi, it's nice to see you there. So in today's vlog, we're just going to potter around and get a few things done in the garden. I have just got home from being out at a friend's place and the baby is still sleeping, which is a bit of a surprise because his naps have not been great. So I thought that I would take advantage and try and get a few things done. We are about to head to my parents' farm property this weekend, and I have actually potted up a few seedlings for them. And I need to split a few things and let me just show you. So here are all the seedlings that I have, well, most of them. There's a couple still up under the grow lights, but these are looking amazing. I have to say they are the best seedlings I have ever grown. Now all of these pak choy and other Chinese greens and that are going to my parents this weekend, and that's fine because they're all in these individual little pots, so I don't have to do anything with those. However, these leeks, I want to give some of these to my parents because I do not need this many leeks. So I'm going to need to separate some of these out. I'm not sure whether I'm going to pot up into this size container or if I'm just going to split out like half of these. Not really sure. We'll come up with some sort of plan then. This is not going to the farm. This is staying here, but I need to probably pot it up, I think. We're too cold to really put this out yet. The thing is, I actually have zucchini in the garden. It's growing, it's doing fine. The fruit are developing, they're not getting very big. So I'm kind of hoping I can grow this on a little bit longer in the pot where I take it in every night and it stays nice and warm, so that when the weather does start to warm up a bit at night, in probably about 6 weeks time, I have a really nice big plant to put in. That's the theory anyway. I don't know if that's sensible. I've got another couple of things too. This is another squash, a yellow scallop one, so I'm going to do the same sort of thing with that. And that one probably needs to be potted up into a bigger pot as well. And what else have we got on this tray? Oh, these here are Rosella hibiscus. They're going to stay in this for the time being. They will need to be taken in and out for a while yet until they get a bit bigger, because they are definitely a warm plant. We've got some spinach. I'm going to give that to mum and dad as well. That can just go up like that. And I think this is a cucumber. Yes, that's another one I'm going to have to probably pot up because that's too cold to go out for that yet, definitely. Some more cucumbers over here. There's actually 2 in this pot, so I probably need to try and separate them out into their own pots. So anyway, I'm just going to get to it and see how much we can get done before the baby wakes up. First things first, we need to decide what we're doing with these leeks. So I reckon I've probably got a good like 50 plants in here maybe. I just want to be, sprinkle happy with the seeds because I wasn't sure whether I would get good germination. Turns out I did. So I'm tempted to actually just split out half of these, put my half directly into the garden bed, and then just sort of backfill the other half with more soil to take to the farm, because these are really, really cold tolerant leeks, I believe, and so they should be fine both here and at my parents' place. I should explain, so we are in Ipswich, Queensland, southeast Queensland. It is a subtropical environment here, but we do get quite a bit colder than right on the coastal areas of the region. So we will get down to -1, -2 regularly during winter. It usually hovers more around the low single digits. This is Celsius as well. And gets bloody hot in summer, but during winter it gets reasonably cold. My parents live out west in an area of the Southern Downs, and they live on top of a hill, quite a big hill as well, so they get very, very cold where they are. Regularly gets down to -6, -7, and they get quite hard frosts. We don't get a frost here really because we've got such great tree coverage on our block that that really protects our little area. If you go just out, 5-10 minutes drive from where we are, same sort of climate, but they do actually get frost because it's open plains there. Anyway, so these should do fine both here and at the farm to be planted out now. So I don't think I need to like separate them and grow them on any further. I think they're doing quite good. So I think we'll just put this aside and hopefully we can get down to the garden shortly and put them in, and then just save the other half for mum and dad. So the next thing, what did I say the next thing was that we needed to do? None of the rest of the things that need to go to the farm actually need potting up, so that's good. So I think we might actually try and pot up the zucchini and the cucumbers. Okay, so this golden zucchini, that's the size of pot that he is in at the moment. I'm thinking of putting him in this size pot. That's probably big enough, right? Yeah, that should be big enough for him to grow on for the next month before I put him out, hopefully. Give it a go anyway. Having much better luck with my seedlings this year, and I think it's down to a couple of things. Firstly, I'm using not a seed raising mix. I've started using a premium potting mix that has lots of good things in it. Like this one has long fertilizer, 12 months worth of fertilizer. It has, I don't know, lots of good things. So instead of the like sterile seed raising mix, and that has, I think, definitely made a difference because the plants have something to fuel themselves with. And then the other thing is that, ooh, look at those roots. I'm just very carefully putting this in here without disturbing the roots too much, hopefully. The other thing is that I was previously raising things outside, and I had a little like mini greenhouse to attempt to keep things a little bit more insulated at this time of year. And last year I had a heating mat to help things get going, but I still think it was just getting too cold. You know, we get down to like -2, for instance, and that little greenhouse is not going to help that much. It's only probably going to keep it at 0. So all your warm crops, it's still too cold. So what I've been doing is I got a I already had the heat pad, and then I got myself a light, and I've been raising the seedlings initially under that light, and then when they get a bit bigger, I've started bringing them in and out of the house every day, so they get their outside time, because our days are lovely. We're currently like, you know, low 20s every day. So yeah, the plants get to come outside. They have, you know, a bit of wind, the sun, all that sort of good stuff, but then they get to go back inside at night where it stays, you know, nice and warm. I think that is really helping. Time will tell as we actually, you know, put them into the garden beds and see how they grow, but yeah, so far I'm pleased. So I'm just going to try and transfer this sticker across to the other pot so that we remember what it is that we grew. Might have to make a new sticker, I think. That one does not feel like it's going to stay on. So he looks happy in his new pot, so I'll water them all in at the end. So next up on the list we have the cucumber. So I've got 3 of these. These ones I'm going to try and separate out into 2 different pots. And these are all the Beet Alpha cucumber. I believe that's a hybrid variety, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So I'm just recycling these pots from previous plants that I've bought. Probably should have given these a good clean, but I don't remember them having anything with a disease or anything like that, so hopefully we're all good. Another one with nice roots, and then we're just going to pop him in here. So we are in the dead of winter right now. Today is July 12th, I think. I forget his label. Yeah, so it's the dead of winter right here at the moment, and I am jealously watching everyone overseas with their beautiful summer gardens, knowing that ours is not that far away. So I'm starting to get everything prepared for that. Oh, look at the root systems on this one. Oh, this is not the other cucumber. This is the yellow scallop squash. Put him in there nice and gently. So, trying to get myself prepared for our upcoming spring and summer seasons. Trying to work out what I need to sow when. Did myself a big list the other night of what needs to be planted when, and when I have to start all the seedlings. So hopefully I don't miss those. I've already started in this last week all of my capsicums and chilies, and also the one tomato that I'm starting. So might be a bit controversial, but I'm not a huge fan of tomatoes, and I've grown heaps of tomatoes in the past and I have used them to make sauces and stuff, but since we don't particularly eat a lot of them fresh, like, you know, my husband will eat tomato. He loves the tomato sandwich, tomato and cheese, that sort of thing, but I don't like them fresh, so we don't eat a huge amount. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to take a couple of the volunteers that we have popping up in the garden, going to grow them as my couple of tomatoes for the year for fresh eating, and I'm not going to worry about trying to grow a heap or preserving or anything like that. I'm going to grow other things that we eat a lot of, like cucumbers. I really want to get some zucchinis going. Might sound strange to some people, but we really struggle to grow zucchinis here. Like, people talk about zucchini glut. I would love to have a zucchini glut. Ours just die from powdery mildew before they've really had a chance to produce. So I'm trying to be good about having succession this year, and we'll see if we can actually get some fruit. So far, having the winter zucchini, which has been an interesting experiment, we've managed to get 2 tiny little zucchinis that were really delicious. But, you know, they're not hugely productive at this time of year. It's too cold. But maybe if I can have nice, mature seed plants to go in at the point that it's starting to warm up, we might get just, you know, ahead of powdery mildew, maybe. Anyway, this is the cucumber that's got 2 in here, so I don't think cucumbers actually really like to have their roots disturbed, but I'm going to risk attempting to split these guys up, and we'll see if they live. I'm just separating the root balls out here, and then we'll put them in their separate pots. If they don't live, it's not a huge loss, because I've got plenty of time to re-sow some more, and also cucumbers actually do really well direct sowing. Yeah, I was just trying to get a bit of a head and have, again, some bigger plants to go in when the warm weather comes. The reason I'm really trying to do that is because we have kind of this short window in spring and autumn where the weather is quite nice, and then it gets stinking hot, and you know, the plants actually don't grow that well when it's stinking hot. So we can have big plants going into spring. Hopefully we can get sooner production, and we will then have time for another round. I cannot believe the baby is still sleeping. It's a miracle. Miracle that's letting me get something done. Okay, cucumbers. I don't think these ones had labels. I must have just known that they look the same as the other cucumber, I guess. I just noticed there was one more plant that I didn't show you that I had grown from seed. That is artichokes, which I'm so excited about. I've never actually managed to get one of these to germinate. I've been trying for a couple of years. So we've got 4 of the 6 have come up. I think I might actually pop these guys up to the next size pot today. The question is, do I go just for this size, or do I run back down and get some more of this size? I'm tempted to go get this size, and that way I don't have to redo them again for a while, probably until I plant them out. Okay, let's go do that. Okay, so I could only find 2 more of this size, so I guess the last one is just gonna have to go in one of these. I guess we'll get to do a accidental experiment on how much pot size makes a difference in the size that the plant grows to. So let's get these filled up with some potting mix. So tell me, what's been going well in your own gardens this season? Are you in the northern hemisphere and in the middle of your... Oops! Okay, well thankfully that was not one of the ones with the plant in it. Let's see if we can do this a bit better. Not have them all fall out. Okay, got him. What's been working really well for you? What's your biggest sort of harvest you've had? Or are you still waiting for things to start coming in? So with our winter harvest, we've just been getting lettuce, and the snow peas have just started. And obviously those couple of little zucchinis I was talking about. And some pak choi. Those those Chinese greens are great at this time of year here. So there's our first artichoke plant. Okay, I'm going to crack on and get this done and hope that I can finish the job before the baby wakes up. Okay, so I was thinking about it while I was feeding the baby, and I think I am going to separate out these leeks into some smaller pots, because now that I think about it, I don't actually have any space in the garden at the moment to really plant these out. So I'm going to take out about half of them and pot them up into these smaller pots over here, this size. Right, probably a couple per pot, and then they can grow on in that, and the rest of them can go up to my parents' place on the weekend and they can plant them out in their garden. I'm going to do maybe half a dozen. Okay, let me do some maths. So if we put 3 per pot, 18, a lot of leeks. But I think I've got a lot of seedlings here. Like I said, I think I've probably got about 50 in that little pot. So, well, let's do 6 to begin with, see how far that gets us. Now, the next thing I've got to figure out is, do I need to like separate out the leeks into these small pots with like space between them, or do I put like 3 in the same little hole? I don't know. I know Charles Dowding does like the method for beetroots and things where he plants them close together, but I'm not sure about leeks. So might just do a quick Google on that and then we'll come back and have a look. Okay, so it looks like with Charles Dowding's multi-sown method for leeks, you are doing like clumps of 5 or 6, and then you keep like 2 to 4, it said. And then you plant those like clumps of 2 to 4 together. So think what I'm going to see is how this separates, and then we'll figure it out from there. Okay, I'm just trying to pull these apart and see what happens. Okay, that looks like roughly half. This is the messier half, so this is the half we're going to work with here. And this is the half that I'm going to try and put back into a pot to give to Mum on the weekend. So I'm just going to slide this back into this pot like that, and then we'll just put some soil in this side. There we go. So that looks all right. I think that'll make it up to the farm, no worries, and then we can plant it out into their garden. Now this is the other half, which is what's left for me, and I'm going to just see if I can separate them into some clumps. Okay, so that's not really working. What I think I'm going to do is actually just pull out all these, make a hole in one of these, stick these in. See if that works. So how many do I actually have here? I'm going to take my glove off. Easier to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See what I mean? Like, it's bloody deceiving how many there are. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh no. Some of these just had multiple leaves. Okay. So that's actually only 4. So he said you want to plant them out in groups of like 2 to 4. So I'm actually going to see if I can plant out some with 2, and then we'll plant out some with 4, and we'll see what the difference is at the end. That could be a fun experiment. See if they result in better leeks from one or the other. Okay, see if I can press these roots all the way down. Tell you what, they smell nice. You can hear my son in the background. He's having a play on his mat. I'm getting a bit of outside time. We'll see how long he lasts before he needs some entertainment. Okay. Right, so this one is a group of 4. So, group of 2, group of 4. So I'm just going to keep going, and we'll have a look at them at the end. I'm definitely going to need more than 6 containers though, because there's a lot here. And here's the after of our repotting. So we've got the leeks that are going to go to the farm. Then here are the 10 separated out for me. Nothing else has changed in this lot. So over here we have the potted up zucchinis and cucumbers and artichokes, and I think they all look wonderful. So I will keep you updated on how they grow and how they do once we transplant them into the garden come spring. So I've just got a few clips from the last few days. A bit of harvesting. We got our first snow peas, which my daughter loves. So I've come down to the veggie patch to get some zucchini for dinner. The zucchini is growing quite well, and it is producing little zucchinis and it's pollinating fine and all that, but the zucchinis just aren't getting very big, and I think it's just because of the cold weather. So even though this zucchini is not very big, I'm just going to harvest it. I've got another one in another bed that I'm going to harvest as well. We'll have them with dinner. They'll be great, but some zucchini's better than none, right? Oh, and all this netting. The cockadoos have come into my garden and are destroying. So far they've destroyed the Cape gooseberry and a couple of my broccoli plants, so I've had to start covering things. See the damage they've done to the, oh, you can't see because there's a snow pea in the way. But yeah, that's the damage they've done to the broccoli plants. So I don't think this one's actually going to even produce a head, because I'm pretty sure they have nibbled off all of the center section, but oh well. So cover him back up, and then over here we've got the zucchini. We'll uncover him, and there it is. Can you see that in there? So it's not very big, but I'm sure it's going to taste good. Yum. And we've got another one here that hopefully got pollinated today before I put the netting on. I'm just going to have to be careful with this netting, that I make sure I either uncover it so that the bees can get in and pollinate, or that I'm hand pollinating. The other zucchini is in here, so we'll grab him out now. See, there's another one in there that's hopefully pollinated today or yesterday, and the one we want is underneath here. There he is. Again, not very big, but hopefully will taste nice. Couple of zooks. And a cheeky snow pea on the way past. Here's the other bit of damage that's happened to the garden. A possum has come in and eaten my parsley. I think he's getting on that rock and then coming across to the planter. Down to the garden to grab some lettuce for lunch. Oh, it's looking lovely. Let's have a look. Look at all that beautiful lettuce. So we're gonna pop some in here. Going to grab enough for our lunch and also for burritos for dinner tonight. Get a variety. I'm just picking from the bottom leaves. That way they just keep growing. That'll probably do it. Update on the parsley. So I moved the parsley into a couple of clumps at the front. It's still left the one at the back. And everything is regrowing. I don't think the possum has visited again though. So I'm hoping when he does, he doesn't eat all of it now that I've separated it into a couple of different groups. Such a naughty, naughty possum. Well, it's been a bit all over the place. But hopefully you've enjoyed watching what we've been up to here in our garden the last few days. And I will catch you on the next video. Bye!